Greetings, this is James Gillen with As You Wish Talk Radio on the BBS Network. We've got a great show tonight. Happy Halloween, everybody. We're celebrating a little early because it is on Sunday, but this show is on Saturday. So we're doing it on Saturday. We have quite a little party going on. First of all, a big shout out to everybody in the conference building having fun there. There's a lot of kids running around dressed up and a lot of really big kids running around dressed up out there. And some pretty nice costumes and taking pictures, and the whole room is full of orbs. It's kind of nice. We did a little kind of a clearing work and brought in some really high beans for everybody to play with, and it was quite fun. So that being said, we've got a great show. We've got Chris Moores, and he's a musician, composer, artist, writer of several books, philosopher, radio personality, and he's the man behind the website, creativecosmos.org. And he's rooted in the traditions of the West with a deep appreciation for meditation of the East. He unifies both in his work. And we're going to talk about Samhain today, or Samhain, I should say. And we're going to be discussing dreamings, entities, the shamanic work of soul retrieval, all kinds of things. So without any further ado, Christopher, are you with us?
Yes, I am, and happy to be so.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Hey, great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, so many people want to know what Samhain is all about. And whenever I hear Samhain, I think of some guy, some guy that makes underwear or something, So maybe you can give us the roots of Samhain.
Well, I'll tell you what it means to me. It's a time in the cycle where the active part is slowing down, and then there's this little gap before slumber. And in that gap, things can really move around. It's just like on the individual level, we have our active day, and then just before sleep, we start going into the dream space. And I believe that this time of the year, and what all traditions have felt or soaked up from this time of the year and then represented in various ways, and Samhain can be one way one name to call it, is just that where the other world is a little bit closer and where we are noticing it a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. It does seem to be, some people call it the Day of the Dead. There's all kinds of stories about it. A lot of people used to have big bonfires, and you have to sit around the bonfire all night long and tell stories. So the dead or the boogie woogie man or whatever doesn't come and get you in your house.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say stories. There's something about telling stories that brings these entities closer together. Just like when a family gets together and they tell their old family stories, it builds the bond. And when we get together, and there's all kinds of boogie oogies, but there's also our ancestors and the forces that contribute to our lives in a positive way that we can call forth and try to connect with and get guidance from.
Yeah, can you go a little deeper into that?
Sure. There's a number of ways to look at it, but this is, as far as I understand, this is one quality of what could be called the indigenous mind, or the mind that the people of the planet had before we got really technological and left hemispheric, the tuning into the earth. And I believe that those we've loved and have those who've crossed over are not so far away, and we can create a circumstance where we can directly include them in the present of our lives. This is one reason people have such sorrow at death, is because they believe it to be an ending, and they feel cut off from those they've loved. But many of the ancient peoples, they didn't look at it that way. They included the dreams or the visions or the real connections you can make through these stories and through sharing these memories. And they didn't believe death to be such an ending, as more of a transition into another space. And when you can gain experiential knowledge of that, when you can dream that, when you can do that, when you can communicate and connect, then death loses a little bit of its sting.
Mm-hmm. I always hear people say, I lost my mother or I lost my father. I go, how'd you lose them? You kind of, you fell asleep. That's how you lost them.
Yeah.
So,
indeed.
But yeah, we get so trapped into this three-dimensional reality, we forget the other realities are going on right alongside of us, and our ancestors are right there next to us as well. And it depends on our belief system. I know a lot of the ancient traditions honored that, and put food out for their relatives and things like that at major events, and put a plate out for them, and just acted as if they were still there right alongside of them. And in a way they just weren't in a physical body.
Yeah, exactly. One thing about that, they're placing that food out, but what they're really doing as well is sending this intent out to the universe, or just radiating this intent to the other side, or to the other spaces, or to the other frequencies, which then helps draw them near and makes it possible for that connection. They're sending that message out, and then they're remaining open to receive a response.
Yeah, I just had a big green flash of light appear next to me, and I'm the only one in this room. So somebody is listening.
Hello.
Yeah.
See, even this, you and me talking and everybody listening out there, we're creating the circumstance right now. So I would encourage the listeners as well. Right now, even as we're talking, kind of send that intention out there. Think of someone that you loved, or somebody that's you might be very nearby, and you just need to open the door.
Definitely. Now this is also seems to be a time where the veils are very thin, or, there's so many different traditions around Halloween, and some say it's a time for the dark forces and the witches and the other stuff to have their day. And the others say, well, it's a day where the veils between worlds are very thin, so it's a very good day to meditate, make your peace, contact loved ones from the other side. There's so many different stories about this. It's interesting, and I know a lot of it has been demonized, by the churches. They kind of demonize all the natural ceremonies and things like that have been going on for thousands of years. But how do you celebrate Samhain or?
Well, I think all of that, what you said, is true. It's a time where the veil is thin, and my favorite thing to do is just be outside at dusk and walk around and be in my space and just kind of feel everything as I walk. I look for the animals. I look to see what they're doing. I look to see what they're telling me. I look to the birds, and I look to the trees, and I look to the colors, and I look to the skies and the clouds and the stars. And my very favorite thing in life is to see the rainbow sky at dusk, and to just open up and bask in that glow, and to open my heart and lose all boundaries.
I know Dan would love to hear that. He goes out and stares at the sun every morning and every night, and I do as much as I can. I'm usually busy half the time, so I'm usually behind the wheel here doing a radio show or something. But,
hey, we all do our thing, man.
Yeah, here it's kind of interesting because the land here is a vortex, and the veils are already thin. And so when they thin more, you could go on your little walk, and who knows what's going to be walking next to you. And so it gets real interesting around here.
Wow, it sounds like the veil just got very thin. Yeah,
it definitely does. I want to discuss some of your other, the work that you do, like some of the, you're talking about how the dreaming time and the different types of entities you've encountered, and some of the shamanic work that you do. Hello? That was strange. Hello? Whoops, we lost our guest, I think. We've got a little glitch here in the system. The spooks are playing around with us, obviously. Quite interesting. Hopefully I'm still on the air. Well, we've lost our guest, and we might have lost me too. I have no idea if we're on the air or not. Well, looks we've got him back. Great. All right, we're on the air. I think we've got hopefully we've got Christopher back. Nope, we lost his connection again. Who knows what's going on here? But I guess we're still on the air, so this is getting pretty strange. Are we on? Yeah.
I'll let your audience hear me now. Well,
okay.
To everybody, actually everything's good here. Chris, we just keep losing Chris. You are on the air. James, you have been. I've been typing to you. Are you getting the messages?
Yeah, I'm getting the messages.
Oh, excellent. Well, you've been on the air. We just keep losing Chris. Chris, are you there? Chris?
I'm not seeing any little bars going off, so I think we lost Chris. Maybe they abducted him. You know, he didn't stick around to the fire.
He's actually been phoning me. He keeps calling back on the channel, and then we connect, and then he disconnects, and then we've done this 3 times now. He calls in. I add him to the Skype conference, and then he just disconnects. So I believe there's something going on with his internet.
Yeah.
Okay, so I doubt it has anything to do with anything other than that.
I think the goblins got him.
The goblins got him.
Yeah, I told him. I told him to stay close to that fire.
Yeah, let's see. There we go, Chris.
Stay close to that fire, they're going to get you. This is the first witch abduction we've had, live on the air. So
I think we got him. I think. Oh no, he dropped again.
Got him. Lost him.
You know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get him on the phone. That might be easier. I'll be back here in a moment, hopefully with your guest.
Maybe anybody wants to call in. We might be able to do that.
Sure. All the lines are operational. Everything's working perfectly.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about some of the other crazy things going on because I know we had a massive solar flare that just missed us, and luckily it did because we wouldn't be on the air right now if it didn't. And we've got a major volcano going off over there in Indonesia, then a tsunami, and we have a lot of souls crossing over there, so we should all say some prayers to them and help them on their way in their transition. We are going to have some real rocky road coming up ahead of us here, and these changes are all a part of it. But I just had somebody recently send me a email that showed all the volcanoes going off around the world.